All right, here I am. Here's my face and all that stuff. Let me turn this music down. Hello. Happy FTG Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm trying to keep up with this stuff. I just keep getting home so late. I don't know. I might have to change the time I do this show. We'll see. I'll figure that out. I don't want to do it much later than this, but I can't because I have obligations after the show. But anyway, happy Thursday, FTG Thursday on the Morning Night Live. Yeah, that is stupid. We'll talk about that and much, much more after we play the intro. Johnny, please play the intro in 3, 2, 1, now.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, that would be me. And here's my face. Good morning, everybody. Wait a minute. That's not my face. What the hell? Let's try it again. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we are excited about another launch of SpaceX. Yes, Gunfox has already given me a couple of links, and I was already going to talk about it anyway, but I'm going to use your links. So, well, that's not good. Oh, no. So anyway, hi. I'm glad I'm here. It's 420 today, and that has nothing to do why I'm discombobulated. I'm a little discombobulated. I don't know. Anyway, so let's just get the show started by saying hi to everybody, and then we'll just get right into all the stuff. Whole bunch of stuff to talk about. First in chat today is Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning to our friend Jay Pylon from Hotep Nation. Good morning, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost, a.k.a. Tyler Alexander, Mike Savage, Blarg, Septus Wolf, Fake News Expert, welcome back. Also, hello to Lord Stanhope, good morning. I'm scrolling here. Just Simon Wolfwood, hello. Tyler F, hey, what's up? My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. What's up? Jim Beams here. Look out for Rotten Corpse is here. Karen Killjoy D, that's a new name. How you doing? Nice to see you here. Well, it may not be new. It may, or you may be new. I'm not sure. We'll find out. You'll probably tell me in the chat. Also, good morning to Cracked. What's up? Special K on Acid. And that looks like about everybody so far. But there'll be more. And I don't know if anyone else is noticing that Rumble seems to be having some major problems. And I don't know if it's the fact that, it is Satsu 2 Cents' birthday. Wait, what happened here? There we go. It is Satsu 2 Cents' birthday. By the way, if you follow me on Twitter, retweet the post I made about Satsu. All Satsu wants for his birthday is some advice about starting his business. He's started a business in food, and he just wants to do small scale, like a food truck or small scale restaurant with just a couple people kicking out stuff during the day. If he could get a state fair booth somewhere, like especially here in Minnesota or Texas or something. And he lives in California, I realize that, but or somewhere out west, I think. But anyway, he just wants some advice on certain aspects of the business. And so if you retweet my tweet talking about Satsu, or if you just maybe if you know anybody who owns a food truck, anyone owns a really like small scale restaurant, send them Satsu's way, because he loves some advice, and that's really all he wants for his birthday. It's interesting. So anyway, but a happy birthday to our friend Satsu, who's now Fam 2 Cents on Twitter. So FAM 2 cents CENTS. So check him out. Is he in Ohio? Oh, you might be right. Scribe's in California. Satsu's in Ohio, but it doesn't matter where the person that you know is from. It just anybody can give him that that advice. So anyway, good morning, Hey Camel, one of the original viewers of the Morning Night Lives in the house, and let's begin. So, real quick, notifications on my Twitter right now. Thank you, Sovereign Nation, well, so far, okay, wait, that's all. But I appreciate. Oh, I see Jaeger Pony saw that tweet for Satsu. Just a reminder. You, the viewers, are the people who sponsor this show. And the way to do it is hit the like button. Share the stream before the stream, like when you're waiting, during the stream, while I'm talking, after the stream, doesn't matter. All three work. It helps. And also, if you want to actually donate to the show or give a gift or something like that, you can do that at pdognight.live. That's my Streamlabs link. You can also do super chats, Rumble rants when Rumble's working. And there's a couple other options in the description down below. But even just sharing the stream as often as you can is a great help. Every once in a while, someone new comes to the show because you share what I do. Also, I want to remind you that I'm starting to fairly consistently put out little shorts video. You know, the little short videos, the little small, whatever, small type videos now and then. And what's wild is one of my shorts videos recently got over 20,000 views, which is, I mean, huge for me because I think my most watched video, I think, of all time only had about 5,000 before that. So some of them are hit, some are missed. But I noticed one that I put out this morning, or yesterday morning, that I had go live at noon, has almost no views, and I think I know why. Okay, when I was setting up the video and I uploaded it, and you go through all the checks, right? And it got one of those, like, this video is not suitable for advertisers. Like before I even posted it, right? And so I appealed it, and then it did it. But it's one of those videos where if you happen to talk about the wrong subjects on YouTube, they won't put it out. So it didn't, I'm pretty sure it didn't go out in the notifications. It may have, I don't know, about 20 people have watched it, but that's 20 people watching one of those shorts videos is like nobody. And it obviously it didn't go into the shorts feed because the video just before that, I have over 6,000 views on it, which is also huge for me. That's like my second biggest number ever. But this one has like 22 views, right? So I put out one of those community posts and just said, hey, go to my shorts feeds and watch the ones you haven't seen yet, because there's a few of those like that, and it's always on some subject that YouTube doesn't want you talking about. Well, not always, because the one on the Bud Light thing, I'm pretty sure they don't want you to, but I think it was too hard to suppress that one. So anyway, check out the video section every once in a while on my channel, and there's always going to be some new stuff there that you may not get notified about. So I'd appreciate if you do that. Good morning, Games Lames. Nice to see you. Jim Beams in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's get into some news. Now, just a couple things that I noticed trending on Twitter, which is what I tend to do at the beginning of the show. By the way, Gunfox61, by the way, I forgot to mention too, I know you're here somewhere. I don't see you in the chat, but Gunfox61 did a couple donations just before the show, so that makes Gunfox61 the new Streamlabs Superstar Sponsor of the Day. Yes! Thank you, Gunfox61. One of them says, breaking news, Boca Chica, Texas. SpaceX launches Starship 24 and booster number 7. Ship and booster exploded mid-flight after a wild first launch. Oh, well, that's not good. That is not good. That's probably why SpaceX is trending this morning. And he sent me the link to the article, which we're going to check out. So here we go. Let me make sure that everything I click, you'll be able to see. And by the way, all the articles that we put in the show, all the videos, tweets, whatever, end up in a single link in the description of the video, of the replay. And also, I drop it in the chat at the end of the show. So if you want to see any of this stuff, you can do that. Now, so SpaceX is trending. VR Cam caught some spectacular footage as Super Heavy rocked SpaceX Starbase this morning. I'm floored at the amount of debris that was ejected, waiting on Rover 2 damage assessment. Congratulations, Elon Musk, on pulling this historical launch. Now, I'm not even sure what that means. But anyway, here's the article from the AP that Gunfox sent me. SpaceX giant rocket explodes minutes after launch in Texas. SpaceX's new giant rocket blasted off in its first test flight Thursday, but exploded minutes after rising from the launch pad and crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. Elon Musk's company was aiming to send the nearly 400-foot, 120-meter Starship rocket on a round-the-world trip from the southern tip of Texas near the Mexican border. It carried no people or satellites. The plan called for the booster to peel away from the spacecraft minutes after liftoff, but that didn't happen. The rocket began to tumble and then exploded 4 minutes into the flight and plummeted into the Gulf. After separating, the spacecraft was supposed to continue east and attempt to circle the world before crashing into the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. Throngs of spectators watched from the South Padre Island, several miles away from the Boca Chica Beach launch site, which was off limits. As it lifted off, the crowd screamed, "Go, baby, go." The company plans to use Starship to send people and cargo to the moon and eventually Mars. NASA has reserved a Starship for its next moonwalking team, and rich tourists are already booking lunar flybys. Well, I'm glad they didn't book it on this one. It was the second attempt. Monday's try was scrapped by a frozen booster valve. At 394 feet and nearly 17 million pounds of thrust, Starship easily surpasses NASA's moon rockets, past, present, and future. The stainless steel rocket is designed to be fully reusable with fast turnaround, dramatically lowering costs, similar to what SpaceX's smaller Falcon rockets have done, soaring from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Nothing was to be saved from the test flight. The futuristic spacecraft flew several miles into the air during testing a few years ago, landing successfully only once, but this was to be the inaugural launch of the first stage booster with 33 methane-fueled engines. So, rocket go boom. Now let's go back into the hashtag, the Twitter handle here. Let's see. Cheering and applause breaks out following a rapid unscheduled disassembly, which is now that's interesting. That's an interesting way to put
Kate,
it.
right now
Here,
it looks like we saw.
Let's put this on. Let's start this from here. Let's do full screen here, guys. There we go. So here's the. Here it is.
Where Starship should separate from the Super Heavy booster.
But it's tumbling, as you can see, and then the whole thing, I think, explodes.
Yeah, Kate, right now it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now. Obviously, this is does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
And why are they cheering?
As we saw, as we promised, an exciting end to the Starship inaugural integrated test flight.
Now, I'm wondering. I'm confused.
Everyone here absolutely pumped to clear the pad and make it this far into the test flight. The first integrated flight of the booster and the Starship vehicle.
Okay, so apparently they're cheering because the booster began to work, but even though it went kaboom, I guess something about that went right. So they ended up cheering anyway. Good morning, Nomad, by the way. Hello.
Stop. Hammer time.
Yeah, nobody was killed because nobody was in it. It was an unmanned and no satellite flight. This was a testing of the new rocket that now they did get separation, but apparently something worked right because they're still cheering. Good morning, Those Ain't Real Dude, by the way. It got off the ground is why they're happy. Okay, yeah, it did. Yeah, it definitely got out there. Now, clearly a couple things about it didn't work, but they were, who knows? This is a whole new world. A whole new world. Okay, I didn't need to do that. As far as this type of rocket. So I guess congratulations. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Also training today, happy 420. Everyone, it's April 20th, which last year on 420, I forgot to do that. Normally on 420, I only do stories about cannabis, marijuana, CBD, and all that kinds of stuff. And I forgot because it didn't even dawn on me it was 420. So I didn't do it this year, but that's what I normally do. Anyway, so on Twitter, obviously that's trending. 420 trends every April 20th every year. Apparently this is that's a TikTok. Let's see if this is this TikTok that someone put at the top here. What the hell? Why isn't that scrolling correctly? Okay, well let's do this. We'll do it this way then. We'll open it. Oh, well, it's gone now. Here's Bob Marley talking about marijuana. Let's hear Bob Marley talk about marijuana.
But in this time, I mean, like, for instance, you're reaching a sense where you
I don't know if I can play this.
Can take a little smoke.
Oh, this is BBC.
So when all them car pass, although you live in the city, you don't hear it because you're thinking.
I should have had reggae music.
Different live, you just live, anyway. So.
Puff, puff, pass.
And,
yes,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? The whole world confused you and you're worried and you don't have no time to think.
Okay, let's not do this because this is 2 minutes long of listening to Bob Marley talking whatever. So anyway, people are happy it's 420. So there you go. Oh, there we go. Oh, we know that we know. That's funny. That's funny to me. Anyway, happy 420 to those who partake and to those who don't partake. Happy 420 anyway. All right, moving on. Also trending on Twitter is the emergency broadcast system. Now, I don't know if this happened to anybody else, but apparently last night at 4:45 a.m. in some part of the country, the emergency broadcast system went off and it was a test. Now, you get a test of the emergency broadcast system. Now, if you have a cell phone, or excuse me, a smartphone or whatever, and it's not just on your, it's no longer just on your TV or on the radio where you hear the, you know that stupid sound they put on, and this is a test of the emergency broadcast system. Apparently at 4:45 a.m., some people's smartphones decided to go off with the emergency broadcast system. This is a funny little thing. How that emergency broadcast system Amber Alert test woke everyone up this morning. They're all screaming like scared straight.
Let's go, move.
And depending on where you live in the country, you really. Oh, the detonation was planned. Well, it wasn't planned that soon though, right? I thought it was supposed to detonate later than that, but apparently it worked. Okay. So anyway, Don Julio Gulf City Biker and Trash Man, good morning, sir. And Cracked, good morning. So anyway, emergency broadcast system is trending because it went off at 4:45 a.m. in Florida, and we all know the last thing Florida wants to be is woke. Ah! I got that one. That's some funny shit. Anyway, when the emergency broadcast system goes off in Florida, at least this time of year, you probably should take note, especially some of the weird disasters that have been happening in Florida lately. So that's why it's trending. All right, let's get into. Wait a minute. Do I have one more? No, that's it. Okay. Now this story caught my eye, and it became the impetus of the title today. Okay, subsidizing risk and other public stupidity, and because it is FTG Thursday, I thought this was an appropriate one to start with and feature as part of the show. Apparently, the Biden administration is now this article. I haven't even read the article yet, but I'll react to it live. I guess right here, the Biden administration apparently says that they are going to hike payments for good credit home buyers to subsidize high-risk mortgages. Oh, that's some clown shit right there, if you ask me. But I haven't read the article, so I don't know what this is. But people are already mad about it. just reading the headline. So let's check it out in the Washington, is this Washington Times? Yes, the Washington Times has an article here. Biden to hike payments for good credit home buyers to subsidize high-risk mortgages. Now, we've had this, we've kind of had this issue a while back, except they didn't really ding the good credit the good credit people to subsidize the bad credit people. Although, if you think about it, someone mentioned FHA mortgages are kind of like that. I don't know if someone in the chat wrote that or whatever, but yeah, it is kind of like that. So let's just see what this says. Homebuyers with good credit will soon encounter a costly surprise. A new federal rule forcing them to pay higher mortgage rates and fees to subsidize people with riskier credit ratings who are also in the market to buy houses. Now, let me just stop right there, because there's going to be some concern that this would, this may affect like just everybody's mortgages or whatever. Okay. I don't think that's the case, but let's read. The fee will go into effect May 1st as part of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which is basically FHA. Their push for affordable housing. So as I put in the description of this particular video, I said, in the name of equity, and everybody, class, whenever you hear the word equity, what should you do? Type it in the chat. So the federally backed home mortgage companies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Oh my gosh, yes it will. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are doing this too? Okay, now I'm pissed. Now I'm extra pissed. I could see if they were doing it for FHA loans, but they're talking Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Will enact the loan level price adjustments, or LLPAs. Well, isn't that a special little acronym? LLPA. That's special. Mortgage industry specialists say homebuyers with credit scores of 680 or higher will pay. Why would you penalize the people? Well, I'm one of those people. I have good credit. I know a brother with good credit. It's amazing, isn't it? No, it's not that amazing. There's a lot of brothers with good credit. I knew because I used to be a loan officer. And there was a lot without bad credit, but there's a lot of everybody with bad credit. It's just some people have good credit, but some people have bad credit. People with the credit scores of 680 or higher will pay, for example, about $40 more per month on a home loan of $400,000. So basically, $1 per $100 or $1 per $10,000 in loan amount. Okay. Homebuyers who make down payments of 15 to 20% will get socked with the largest fees. So they're basically disincentivizing being low risk, because people with credit scores of 680 or higher and people who put more 15% or more down are generally your lowest risk buyers. It doesn't mean they have more money. It just means they kept themselves in oh my God, this is stupid. Are you kidding me? The new fees will apply only to Americans buying houses or refinancing after May 1st. So it doesn't go into effect till after May 1st. So it won't affect people who already own homes unless you refinance that home. Then you're going to get charged with extra fees for having good credit. That's not that. Where you know what I said about? I need this. Here, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me look up something real quick, because I'm going to add this soundbite. And let me see. Let me find it. That's not how. Here we go. This is the new soundbite that I need. Wait. That's not it. Here's the soundbite I need.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Okay, so there you go. I stopped the show for that. Can you believe it? All right, back to the article. Lenders and real estate agents say the changes will frustrate home buyers. Oh, no shit. frustrate homebuyers with high credit scores and homeowners seeking to refinance because the rule punishes them for relatively strong financial positions. Hello, Donkey Punch Bandit, by the way. This is maddening. The change does not make sense. Penalizing borrowers with larger down payments and credit scores will not go over well, Ian Wright, the senior loan officer with Bay Equity Home Loans in the San Francisco Bay Area, told the Washington Times in an email message. It overcomplicates things for consumers during the process that can already feel overwhelming with the amount of paperwork, jargon, etc. Confusing to borrow is never a good thing. Jessica Reloaded, what's up, my friend? How are you doing? So happy to see you. He said the rule will cause customer service issues for lenders and individual loan officers when a customer won't understand why their interest rate and fees suddenly changed. Well, they won't suddenly change unless you buy a house or refinance a house. But anyway, I am all for the first-time buyer having a chance to get into the market, but it's clear these decisions aren't being made by folks that understand the entire mortgage process. Yeah, that's the truth. It said Mr. Wright or whatever. New fees will create extreme confusion as we enter the traditional spring home purchase season, said David Stevens, the former head of the Mortgage Bankers Association, who served as commissioner of the Federal Housing Administration during the Obama administration. So even someone from the Obama administration says, yeah, this is gonna piss some people off. It pisses me off already. And I'm not even in the market to refinance my house. We're good. We're good right now. Holy shit, this is crazy. This confusing approach won't work, and more importantly, could come at a worse time for an industry struggling to get back on its feet after these past 12 months, Mr. Stevens wrote in a recent social media post. To do this at the outset of the spring market is almost offensive to the market, consumers and lenders. The housing market has been hit hard by a series of Federal Reserve interest rate hikes. Yes, that have driven mortgage rates above 6%. Whoa, wow, they're above 6% again, huh? You know, it's funny because when I was in the industry, when I was a loan officer, we were so excited when mortgage rates dropped down below 7%, like when I was doing it, and that's just the late 90s, early 80s, late 90s, early 2000s. You know, we're ecstatic that, you know, rates came down below 7%, got down towards 6%. 6.25% was an amazing mortgage rate. And then the last time I think we refinanced our house a few years ago, and it was like, our rates was like 2.95% or something crazy, even crazier number than that. And we're just like, oh my God. But so going above 6 seems like, oh my God, this is the end of the world, but it's not. I mean, people still buy houses, whatever, but it's going to destroy the housing market for a while. But we've been expecting this housing bubble to go through again. So, look, if you are considering buying a house, don't just text me or DM me, because one of the things that loan officers do that pisses me off, because I used to have to help people refinance someone who had a shitty loan officer before. Make sure that you are really within your means when you do this. Make sure that when they calculate your ratios, just because the ratios that the bank will allow, if we're talking debt to income ratio, just because your debt to income ratio they allow will say, oh, well, you can afford this much. Never go to the edge of what you can afford. Okay. As far as what they say, because they don't factor in taxes, insurance. They don't factor in the cost of electricity, gas, whatever. And you really need someone who's going to give you good advice. Okay, so a lot of people get caught up, especially first-time buyers get caught up in buying way too much house, and they struggle for a while because they become house poor. And so there's a whole lot of things to talk about that. Oh, okay, cool, Jessica. Yeah, I appreciate that you watch the replays too. That's awesome. So, well, aren't you somewhere in a time zone that's not conducive to my show? I could have swore that you were somewhere west of me, time zone west or more. But anyway, so this is crazy though. And so So the housing market has been hard by Federal Reserve interest rate hikes that have driven mortgage rates above 6%, roughly double the level from early 2022. The Fed has raised rates rapidly to bring down inflation, which hit a four-decade high of 9.1% last summer. Oh, but no, I'm sorry. I thought the Biden administration was saying that this is a great economy. And I saw something that Biden the other day tweeted something about, yes, we had brought inflation down significantly, and food prices are lower, and this is lower, and that's lower. I'm sorry. What neighborhood grocery store do you go to, Joe Biden? I beg to differ. But anyway, I will digress. In the wake of a 3 percentage point increase in blah, 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 blah. Now I'm talking like Joe Biden. Hi, Gun Fox. We did your SpaceX article. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you sponsoring the show. In the wake of a 3 percentage point increase in mortgage rates, now is not the time to raise fees on home buyers. Kenny Parcell, president of the National Association of Realtors, told the Federal Housing Finance Agency earlier this year. Under the new mortgage financing rules, home buyers with riskier credit ratings and lower down payments will qualify for better mortgage rates and discounted fees. That is completely backwards. There's a reason that people with lower credit ratings and lower down payments generally have slightly higher fees, because the default rate for those people is higher. It's empirical data that has not changed since credit was invented. Now, I get it. People say, oh, well, the credit system's not fair. No, the credit system is perfectly fair. It truly is. It has nothing to do with race, where you live, how much money you make, anything. It is a very fair system of, if you pay your bills in this amount of on time for this amount of months, that helps your credit rating. Okay. And I've seen people who live in, look, when I was doing loans, I had people who lived in some of the crappiest neighborhoods. Okay. I shouldn't even say crappy. They lived where they lived. Okay. They lived in a low income neighborhood, low income census tract. I did loans for people who lived in low income census tract, who did not make a ton of money, but still had great credit and were still able to get the lowest rates on their loans. I met people who had $5 million homes, who had perhaps the shittiest credit I'd ever seen, but they had high income, but they got terrible rates on their loans because they were high risk loans. Because first of all, you have a huge loan, you have low credit rating, you have and you don't, and they're trying to put as little down as they can. It's a formula that is true no matter how much you make or how much whatever. So it's just crazy. But this is so basically they're going to have the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which most loans are within those systems, right? And then there's also FHA, which are government loans. But Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac aren't private loans, but their guidelines are by the these pseudo governmental corporations. They're going to take the higher risk loans and give you better rates and lower fees, which generally, especially when you say lower fees and lower down payments, the lower down payment you make, the higher risk you are, because the less skin you have in the game if you default. Most people, nobody wants to default because people want to keep their homes. But this is just completely backwards. I don't get it. It's amazing. Now, here's their answer. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Sandra Thompson, a Biden appointee who probably believes in equity, class. When you hear the word equity, what do? Said the fee change will increase pricing support for purchase borrowers limited by income and or by wealth. The agency calls the overall fee change minimal and said the moves will ensure market stability. No, it'll do just the opposite. I'm just saying. After a storm of criticism, the agency delayed an August 1st an upfront fee for debt-to-income ratios of 40% or more. Wait, for debt-to-income ratio. Okay, so they were going to have an upfront fee for debt-to-income ratios of 40% or more. So at least now that in a way, makes sense. If you have that high of a debt to income ratio, you are also high risk. The ratio is calculated by dividing the home buyer's monthly debt payments by gross income. It's one of the key measures lenders use to determine whether a mortgage applicant qualifies for a loan. Ms. Thompson said the postponement will help to ensure the level playing field for all lenders to have sufficient time to deploy the fee. Well, at least they didn't say a upfront fee for debt to income ratios of 40 or less. The lower your debt to income ratio, the less risk you are, basically. The fee change are intended to subsidize higher risk borrowers by imposing an intentional disruption to traditional risk-based pricing. I think if you have, let's say you have about a 700 credit score, and you don't want to pay more, have one late credit card payment of 30 days or more, and just explain that it was a one-time thing. And that might lower your credit score enough to get it. But don't do too many, because then you become less likely to get the loan. Anyway, now why was this done? The answer is simple. It was to try to narrow the gap in access to credit, especially for minority home buyers who often have lower down payments and lower credit scores. I want the government to stop trying to help me, okay? I don't need your fucking crutches. Holy shit. The gap in homeownership opportunity is real. No, not opportunity. Maybe economic education would be a good thing, but not opportunity, because everyone has the same opportunities. But sometimes it just means living within your means before you buy a house. And a lot of people don't do that. And that's not just minorities. It's a lot of people. Believe me, I saw the gamut of people when I was doing loans. All sorts of, all races, income levels, levels of wealth, levels of assets, whatever. And it had nothing to do with the melanin content. It had to do with the amount of responsibility people took for their finances. And that was the big thing. And everyone has the same opportunity to do that. No matter how much you make, okay? You can take responsibility for your finances and figure things out. But holy shit, this is amazing. So this is who said this? This is Mr. Stevens from the government. He wrote in the post, the gap in homeownership opportunities real. America's facing a severe shortage of affordable homes for sale, combined with excessive demand, causing an imbalance. But convoluting pricing and credits is not the way to solve this problem. Is that no? Thompson's the. Okay, I missed who is who here. He predicted the Federal Reserve will soon complete its course of tightening its balance sheet, and mortgage rates will fall. Well, no, if they stop messing around with the Fed rate. Now, mortgage rates aren't necessarily tied to the Fed rate unless you have like a home equity loan or a line of credit or something like that. But that's a whole other story. Good morning, Chosen One, by the way. Lenders are also worried about the impact of the debt-to-income fee that takes in effect in August, because homeowners might feel as they are in a game of bait and switch on their projected borrowing costs. They are. When a lender is quoting a borrower, there is a lot they don't know yet, such as what the property taxes and insurance payments are per month. That's the loan officer's fault. I'm sorry. You should be figuring that in. As a loan officer, I would always try to figure that in. Get estimated property tax. Even if they haven't chosen a home yet, you can calculate what you assume the property taxes are in your state or where the people are looking. So that's the loan officer's fault, why they don't know that. But and it's funny because that's never included in your debt to income ratio. That's why I say when someone says you can afford this much house, you need to ask them, is that including taxes and insurance or tax insurance payment for that house? Because that's also part of the deal. And if they say no, they said, well, can you figure that out? Here's 3 homes I'm looking at. Let's look up the property taxes and get kind of an estimate. So we really know what we're going to be spending every month, because a lot of loan officers don't tell them that. And if they're putting 20% more down and it's not part of their payment, holy shit, then you haven't told them. So it has nothing to do with Zillow making up prices either. Well, that too. But like the same thing, if you do a mortgage calculator online, I guarantee you they're not including taxes and insurance on that mortgage calculator. They're telling you the mortgage payment without the taxes and insurance. Anyway, when a lender's quoting a borrower, there are a lot they don't know yet, such as what property tax and insurance payments are per month. The changes happen to the mortgage payment and income during escrow. So this will cause frustration to the borrower and lenders for the sudden rate and fee changes. Yeah, you add some fees that they don't know about, and all of a sudden you get to, your closing. And those fees are added to the, basically added to the loan amount because you're not paying as much down because there's all these extra fees. That changes your payment. Okay. They need to tell you everything. Oh, I hate this. I used to have to deal with this all the time. People wanted to refinance because they got screwed by a prior loan officer. And I was, I left the business because I couldn't stand it anymore. I just happened to be just before the crash. I kind of saw that coming though in 2008. I left the business in 2007. Anyway, most of us loan officers will say, let's eat the cost for the borrower to keep them happy, resulting in losses for the lender and the loan officers. He said the added uncertainty will cause delays during an already competitive real estate market lacking in inventory. For example, due to low inventory and fierce competition, many buyers must close their transactions in less than 30 days to get their offer accepted. Mr. Wright said the sudden rate changes will cause lenders to redisclose, adding additional days to the transaction. This puts extreme timeline pressure on the buyer and lenders forced to re-underwrite the file for changes. Well, that also is a problem that the loan officer needs to take into account. Look, if you don't, you can get quoted rate whenever you can, but you can lock in rates up to 60 days for most loans. And if you don't find something, then you just lose the rate then. But if you're in a market where everything's closing in 30 days or less, lock your rates in before they change. I mean, most lenders will let you do that. Anyway, in a letter to Ms. Thompson in February, Mortgage Bankers Association President Bob Smith, that's an unfortunate name for someone in that business, said the timing of the fee change was especially troubling, and the debt to income ratio fee creates operational issues and quality control for lender. The borrower's income and expenses can change several times throughout the loan application and underwriting process, especially considering evolving assumption concerning the nature of debt and income and the growth of self-employment, part-time employment, and gig economy employment, Mr. Brooks said. Well, that's your loan officer's job to make sure they know all the guidelines and stuff. But this is insane if you ask me. Look, the idea that they're going to penalize people with better credit and bigger down payments who are the lowest risk so that they can subsidize the higher risk people. That's completely upside down. And boy, oh boy, it's crazy. So anyway, let's move on and let's get through our FTGs today. So I haven't watched this video yet, but Nancy Pelosi said, today I spoke on the floor of the House to affirm that every child, regardless of gender identity, deserves a chance to be part of a team. Oh my God. So there's this bill going through the House about sports, which I think it probably should be done in the States, but they're really, the Democrats are really against this bill. Look, sports are divided based on sex, not gender, but let's see what Nancy Pelosi has to say, because I'm sure they'll be making like this and having her. So here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the gentleman for yielding.
Now look at the sign back here. Trans kids belong in school sports, in books, in families, and on teams. Now, by the way, the demagoguery on this one is that trans kids, which I think is basically an oxymoron, will be banned from sports. No, they won't. they will just have to participate in sports based on their sex, not their self-proclaimed gender identity. Why are we putting kids in books? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. It's either a really big book. No, they're talking about the books where they have sex acts in the books, that some of the schools are saying, maybe we shouldn't have the book with sex acts in there. It's not like we carry Penthouse Forum in our schools. Maybe we shouldn't have the books with the sex acts in them either. But, there's the activists want to make sure that, your kid can learn how to give a blowjob. Anyway, let's see what she says.
And I thank him for his leadership, for fairness and safety in our schools, and for justice in our community. I stand here today in opposition to the legislation that is on the floor, and listening carefully to the maker of the motion. He references a religious if he references a religious context, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with the health and safety of all the kids, not just the ones who want to self-identify as something else. Text in his comments, and so will I then, following his lead.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, no. Nancy Pelosi's going to make a Bible reference. Stand back, because we don't want the spontaneous fire to get on and it burn anyone else.
We are all God's children.
Yes, that has nothing to do with this.
We all have a spark of divinity in us,
fantastic.
And therefore are worthy of respect.
Okay, respect doesn't mean that you can do anything you want. For example, there's probably some kids who want to go down to the bar and chug a pint of vodka. Now, those people certainly are divine in God's eyes and are worthy of respect, but we restrict them from going down and drinking a pint of vodka at the bar. So this is a bad argument for either side. It has nothing to do with the bill.
And that spark of divinity that is within us insist that we respect it in others as well. So recognizing that we are all God's children.
That's again, same thing.
I rise in opposition to this legislation.
Has nothing to do with the legislation.
Because trans kids are all God's children, belong in sports.
Okay, again, they can play sports. They just have to pay it with the sex that they were born as. No problem. Because sports are separated by sex, not by self-proclaimed gender.
In schools and books and families and on teams.
Again, nothing's taking them out of books. We just get rid of the books that have the pornographic images in them. You don't have to show how to give another kid a blowjob in school. I mean, they'll figure that out on their own, or that's what you have sex education class for. Families, well, nobody cares. You can, if your trans kid and your family is in your family, we're not asking you to take them out of your family. Although now some places they will take the kid out of your family if you don't agree that they might be different than their sex. Like in some states, child protective services they're planning laws to take your kids away from you if you don't affirm the self-identified gender that the kid says. That's a whole nother story. You certainly don't care about those God's children, Nancy.
It's really important for us as leaders in our country to speak.
Man, she is slurring. Is she drunk? She's slurring already. Anyway.
Speak with respect for all of the people in our country.
Certainly. And look, I do get concerned people who use disrespectful language, but I get concerned when people have basically fairy dust language, like just everything's fine and good in fairy dust, as opposed to just having some reality checks that some people need. Good morning, Rick Ashbreaker, by the way.
Trans kids listen and hear what we say, and
all those trans kids. By the way, there's a whole issue too of the fact that, especially among girls, this seems to be a social contagion. So trans kids, do you even know who you're talking to? Are you talking to only the kids that have genuine gender dysphoria and have gone through some psychiatric counseling and have actual dysphoria? Or are you talking to just the kids who distinguish themselves by being something that seems to be trendy and cool right now, that the teachers will, and some segments of society will praise them up and down for. Boy, kids love to get praise, so sometimes they just want to be like those other kids who are getting praise. And that's the problem with this whole thing with trans kids. We're not doing the work that even the World Professional Association of Transgender Health says to do, to make sure that we're not making mistakes with some of these trans kids. Because the trans kids, a lot of them are just figure out later that, oh, I'm not really that, or I just did this to be cool or whatever. And unfortunately, those are the kids who get the most praise right now. So everyone, it seems like, wow, if you see all these other kids getting praise, you want to get praised too. So you might just say, oh, well, I'm non-binary now, something like that. Good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep, by the way. Let me do this. Oh, by the way, and let's take care of this. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sponsoring the show. I appreciate you. Jimmy D says, how come Nancy doesn't talk like that about Donnie T, all God's children? Oh my God. That's a good one. That's good. All right, let's continue.
We do not want to do them harm.
Yeah, we do not want to do them harm. Guess what? Most of the people who say maybe they should wait on the medicalization of these kids, they don't want to do them harm either, because that does actual physical harm to kids. And before you do the physical harm to kids, maybe you should make sure through psychiatric evaluation over a long period of time that they actually are what they say they are, because kids are dumb and they see something on the internet and they say they're all these things. I'll give you an example in a minute. All right, back to Nancy here.
For whatever purpose, on the floor of this house. The gentleman also referenced Title IX. Well, none of us were probably here when Patsy Mink very courageously passed
based on
Title IX.
Sex.
Many of us were here as we
not
reauthorized
gender.
it and fought off initiatives to weaken it, to
based
say that supporting women in
sex.
sports.
Women are a sex in reference to Title IX, because we weren't using that language as it being gender when they created Title IX. Again, I speak a dialect of English where the word woman means adult female. Okay. So, now granted, some people are using a different dialect now, but I still use a traditional dialect. Adult human female is a woman. Okay, so she's going in a path that certainly where we're speaking two different languages. And look, it's kind of with this pronoun thing too. You try to demand that I use some weird pronouns, Zer and all those other. There's a couple video YouTube channels that all they do is tell you how to use neopronouns. Well, all these neopronouns are not a dialect of English that I speak. For example, if I went to France and I demanded people in France to speak English, they would look at me like I'm nuts. Well, you have a language, a dialect that I don't speak. I speak in a different dialect than you. So don't ask me to use neopronouns. I already have a set of pronouns, and I usually base them on what I perceive your sex to be. Now, I might call a trans woman she just to avoid confusion with the person I'm talking to, because they present as a woman, but that doesn't mean that I think they're female. It's for understanding between me and the person I'm talking to. But anyway, I digress.
Was taking away from men in sports. Simply not the case.
What? Oh, she's talking about Title IX. No, it just adds women's sports. And now you're trying to destroy Title IX by allowing males, which was not Title IX was not intended for, to participate in sports for females, which are a different physiological creature in our planet.
But I will say that this bill is an insult to the legacy of fairness and inclusion that Patsy Mink
No. It wasn't about fairness and inclusion. It was about fairness, but it wasn't about inclusion. It was about exclusion, actually, basically separate but equal for men and women. Now, I know you said the equal doesn't work when you talk about races, but separate but equal for men and women. That was the purpose of Title IX, to create a separate but equal category and make sure that you funded those categories. That's what Title IX was for. And it was based, again, on sex, not gender.
And was passed by the House and the Congress when Title IX. Senator Birch Bayh in the Senate of Indiana. So I say let every child, regardless of gender
identity is not part of Title IX. Sex, it's based on sex. Male sports, female sports.
Deserve a chance to be part of a team.
And they can be a part of a team based on their sex.
To learn lessons of sportsmanship and push
based on sex
themselves to reach their fullest potential and vote no against this legislation.
All right, well, there you go. Nancy put that out, and then she apparently she has a seal of her own now. Here it is. Nancy Pelosi, United States House of Representatives, Speaker Emerita. Well, isn't that special? Yes, she is the Speaker Emerita. FTG Nancy Pelosi. Sorry, FTG Nancy. There we go. Everyone jump on that bandwagon. All right, let's move on, because I have a few more here. Let's see. Let's move on to Gavin Newsom, who also is mad. Now, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is mad at Ron DeSantis. And there's a couple of people using that term, don't say gay again. That's weird. So here's Ron DeSantis. The Freedom State strikes again. Florida has just expanded the don't say gay law. Uh-oh. By the way, it's not called don't say gay, but both media outlets I'm going to feature today use that term. The acknowledgement. Now listen to this, because this is a flat out lie, but here it is. Acknowledgement of LGBTQ people is banned for all K through 12 students. Lights, yeah. Then he says this is not about kids. This is about erasing LGBTQ existence. So let's look at the article that he links about this particular bill. Hello, Cannibalistic Wizard. What's up? Florida expands. Again, this is the AP. In scare quotes, don't say gay, because that is not the name of the bill. It's amazing that a supposedly unbiased news organization would use don't say gay in the headline when that is nowhere in the bill in its original form or in the current amended form. Not in there. It's not the name of the bill. House OK's anti-LGBTQ bill. Now, what slant do you think the AP's writers are taking this if they use the people who criticizes its version name and also calls it an anti-LGBTQ bill? Is it anti-LGBTQ, or is it pro maybe just not doing some inappropriate shit to kids? And I'm not ever going to use the word groomer anymore, because I don't think everyone who wants this are groomers. Most of the people who want this kind of stuff in schools, I think they honestly believe, oh, well, we're trying to be inclusive and be this and be that, whatever. But it's unnecessary. It really isn't. Anyway, here we go. Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis added more wins to his agenda targeting the LGBTQ plus community. No. Anyway, as the state board approved an expansion of what critics call don't say gay law Wednesday. Really? So you're gonna define your entire article by what critics call it, not by what the proponents of it call. Interesting. That's called media bias. And the House passed bills on gender transition treatments, bathroom use, and keeping children out of drag shows. Yeah, good. The Board of Educators approved a ban on classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in all grades, expanding the law that bans those lessons up to grade 3 at the request of DeSantis. as he gears up for an expected presidential run. Now, it doesn't do that. That's just it. It doesn't do that. I'll explain why it doesn't do that. Well, it says it right in the next paragraph. The rule change would ban lessons on sexual orientation and gender identity from grades 4 through 12 unless required by existing state standards or as part of reproductive health instructions that students can choose not to take. Now that's interesting because they just told us a law that bans those lessons up to grade 3 and, They said it bans classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in all grades. Well, wait a minute. Which is it? Is it bans it in all grades, or unless required by existing state standards as a part of reproductive health instruction that students can choose not to take? So obviously, in that next sentence, it says it's not banning all of it because it can be in the curriculum of the school. So it doesn't ban it. That's a lie. The proposal will take effect after a procedural note. And by the way, aren't these the same people? Because look, the Board of Education approved. The Board of Education was elected officials. The legislature are elected officials, and Ron DeSantis is an elected official, and they did it at his request. Aren't these Democratic elected people? Why do you hate democracy? I'm sorry. Huh? You must hate democracy because this is who the people of Florida voted for and what they voted for by a 20% margin. Ron DeSantis was reelected in Florida. So why do you hate democracy? I'm just curious. Anyway, the DeSantis administration put forward the proposal last month as part of the Republicans' aggressive conservative agenda, with the governor leaning heavily in the cultural divide ahead of the looming White House candidacy. Well, maybe. Who knows? He previously directed questions to Educational Commissioner Manny Diaz Jr., who said it was meant to clarify confusion around the existing law and reinforce that teachers should not deviate from existing curriculums. We are not removing anything here, Diaz said on Wednesday. All we're doing is we are setting the expectations so our teachers are clear that they are to teach the standards. And part of the standards is teaching about those things in certain classes. The prohibition has drawn intense backlash from critics who argue it marginalizes LGBTQ plus people. Why? You're not even talking about them. It doesn't marginalize them at all. And has vague terms that result in self-censorship from teachers. Good. I don't need my math teacher talking about her, her vag and her pansexual lover. It's unnecessary. I don't need you to talk about him to my kids. Honestly. It's the only issue upsetting. It's not the only issue upsetting LGBTQ plus people in Florida. Also Wednesday, the House passed a bill to make it a felony to provide gender-affirming health care to transgender minors. Another DeSantis priority. Well, that may not need to be a felony. They certainly should come up with guidelines if there's some kids actually gender dysphoric. But then kids are been taught on the internet how to lie to make themselves gender dysphoric. They are taught how to lie to say they're self-ending possible. You know what I mean? So they can get immediate care because they are being taught that this is the best thing for them and the coolest thing and whatever by other people on the internet, the Jeffrey Marshes of the world. So then he gets in the image of God. He created them, male and female. He created them, folks. This is rock solid, irreversible, validated by science and our medical community, period, said Republican Representative Chase Tremont. I wish he wouldn't even throw in the God thing in there. I get it. Yes, you're religious but not everybody believes in God. I just need to keep it science-based for those who, you're supposed to have separation of church and state. Well, so what? This is it. Regardless if it's God or, the frogs turned into monkeys, turned into man, it doesn't matter. It's still science that male and female, the two sexes, are the norm, or the other than the rare exceptions of intersex, which they always bring up. Oh, sex is on a spectrum. No, it's not on a spectrum. Those are anomalies that are rare in our, in human existence. Anyway, I'm going on a rant here. So, you're either male or female. This is not a subject to one's opinion. It is a demonstrable fact. Democrats argue that ignoring gender dysphoria in children can be psychologically harmful. That's why the World Professional Association of Transgender Health says you get them counseling for up to a year before you do any sort of medicalization, and yet no one's following those guidelines in the United States. Interesting. You don't, and that's not transition therapy. And also, the other part too, the gender dysphoria, if kids are left alone, over 90% recover from that during the process of puberty. So are you going to take the other, so for 10%, can they wait till after puberty just to make sure? Can they go through psychological counseling to make sure? Oh no, some of these kids are going after maybe 2 visits to a gender clinic. They're giving them puberty blockers and sometimes even hormones after a couple visits to a gender clinic, because the gender clinics are filled with activists who are only on affirming care and not confirming care. Okay, that's the problem. We're so busy affirming rather than confirming that you're making mistakes, and now you're starting to see a wave of detransitioners. Stop it. 90%, based on studies in Finland, Sweden, and the UK, will recover from the gender dysphoria. And oftentimes, some of those kids are just gay, which is, you know what? Guess what? That's okay. It's okay. They just whatever. Or they just happen to be a masculine female or a feminine man. That's okay. You want to medicalize them, and the gender clinic is popping up all over the country. Oh, they're making a killing on this. They're making a killing because it's gender affirming care. We just affirm them, and then we start doing whatever we do. And yeah, once you start that process, a lot of those will continue to go through it and not figure it out for years down the road that, oh my God, what the hell did I do? That is child abuse for a buck. Democrats argue that ignoring gender dysphoria in children can be psychologically harmful. They said parents and doctors should make the decision on treatments, not government. Really? Great. Okay. My doctor is recommending that my child have a lobotomy. Oh, parents agreed. My child should have a lobotomy. Let's go get my child a lobotomy. Oh, government shouldn't step in on that one? No? Oh, my tattoo artist says my child should get a giant Barney tattoo covering their entire back. Oh, the parents say that's a great idea. Let's get my child a Barney tattoo. He's 9 years old. He'll never get made fun of for having a giant Barney tattoo on his back. Oh, well, no, yeah, no, never. Holy shit. Trans people are already dealing with the feeling of not feeling wanted. That's their parents and the teacher's fault. Not being accepted, not being loved, not belonging. Do we want to treat them like they're worthless? Nobody wants to treat them like they're worthless. That's the opposite. That's exactly what you're doing. You're treating it like, oh, he played with the Barbie once. He's not really what he is in his body. Really? Do you think those body parts that you're cutting off, or the hormones that you're destroying during their puberty, or the fertility that you destroy with puberty blockers, do you think that's treating kids like they have worth? A child 12 years old can decide that they can be permanently sterilized, although you never really explain it to them because they don't really get it anyway. And their parents, all you do is say, oh, well, they're a higher risk. You want a live trans kid or a dead kid? The blackmailing they do to parents to play along, although some of the parents are so excited to play along because then they can say, oh, I'm a good person because I support my trans child. It's so hard to support my trans child in a society where everybody praises me for supporting my trans child. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of this because I want to show you the ABC News article because they do breaking. Oh, here's ABC News. Breaking Florida Education votes to expand so-called Don't Say Gay law. Again, they're defining the law by what the critics call it, not what it's called. I wonder if there's any bias at ABC. So-called Don't Say Gay law rules expanded through 12th grade in Florida. Classroom instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity is limited. Well, at least they didn't lie and say it was banned. It's limited to certain classes where it may be relevant, as opposed to being banned like the AP here lies in their first paragraph and Governor Newsom lies in his tweet. Not banned, sorry. Lie, lie, lie.
Why the fuck you lying?
So, but notice, in this article in ABC, they go through the requisite Florida Board of Education has voted to expand restrictions on classroom instruction related to sexual orientation and gender identity. This amendment prohibits classroom instruction, blah, blah, blah. The very first opinion on this article, right down here, again, comes from critics of the restriction, as usual. Critics of the restriction say that everyone has a sexual orientation and gender identity. Really? That's interesting. Is it a self-proclaimed sexual orientation and gender identity? It looks like this rule would make it impossible to do much instruction at all. Right! Only going to the classes that it's relevant. Your social studies class doesn't need to teach you about LGBTQ shit. Your math class doesn't. Your science class doesn't have to, whatever. And again, the law was dubbed Don't Say Gay by critics, aiming to restrict curriculum that includes history, literature, and more that touch on LGBTQ identities. Not really. Anyway, same old shit, different day. FTG, Gavin Newsom, the AP, ABC News, fuck all of them. I'm swearing now, motherfuckers. All right, moving on. Let me finish up because I'm already run over time here. Let's see. This is Mayor Eric Adams from the city of New York. Oh, this is precious. This is precious, okay? I don't know if you've seen this one. Mayor Adams, he in a tweet, and he puts the video here, which I can't believe he actually put the video up here. Hello, Tales of Gore. We're looking at every option on the menu to fight climate change in New York City. Now, guess how they're going to fight climate change in New York City? Get a rope. By making the switch to plant-powered food, we can begin to reduce our city's third largest source of emissions. But we need New Yorkers to join us. He wants everybody in New York City to be vegan.
We're addressing for the first time the connection between our food system and our climate crisis.
Climate crisis. See, climate crisis. Never let a good crisis go to waste.
About emissions that are coming from vehicles and how it impacts our carbon footprint. It is easy to talk about the emissions that's coming from buildings. I don't know why this music's in here. But we now have to talk about beef.
I've got beef with you. I got beef with you, Mayor Adams.
Integrated emission inventory we're unveiling today show that food is the third biggest source of cities' emissions.
Now you do realize very little food is produced in New York City. Just saying. Anyway, listen to what he says.
We already know that a plant-powered diet is better for your physical and mental health.
He made a claim there. He just made an interesting claim there. That a plant-based diet is better for your physical and mental health. Listen to that again.
That a plant-powered diet is better for your physical and mental health. I am living proof of that.
And he says, I am living proof of that? Where do you get your folic acid and how do you produce that folic acid? I'm just curious, Mayor. But anyway, I am living proof because I think he's a vegan or some shit. I don't know. Prove it how? Oh, my God.
But thanks to this new inventory, we're finding out it is better for the planet. That's why today we're committed to reduce
full court press on this nonsense.
The city food emission by
reducing the city food emission by 33% by 2030. And how do you propose to do that? By banning meat, maybe? Banning animal products? What are you doing, Mayor? How are you going to do that? I'm just curious.
3% by 2030.
30%.
And challenging our private sector partners to reduce by 25%.
You mean restaurants and places that serve food in New York City? What are you going to do? Ban meat in restaurants and whatever? Oh, good luck. Good luck. New York's a pretty big food town, I think, isn't it? I think there's a lot of oh my God.
By 2030. Food has to look good, it has to taste good, and it has to be good for you. We are saying to New Yorkers who are serious about this charge of cleaning up our environment, we now have a new focus that
FTG.
must include food.
FTG, Mayor Adams. Get bent. Now, here's some of the replies. Besides pushing more people to flee Florida, Mayor Adams is racking up a world-class ratio with this tweet. That's funny. Let's see. Climate nonsense is a cult. Yes. There was a good one down here. Oh, this is probably you done this. Yeah, let's see. Wasn't that a myth bunker already? What does your plant-based food need to grow year after year? What's the ratio of depressed people who are vegan versus meat-based food? I've tried it and I didn't feel good. And you realize it only when you switch back to adding meat to your diet. There's some fun. Oh, here's one. Climate change made a catastrophe used by globalists and socialists to instill fear and guilt to tax, regulate, and remove our freedoms while pretending to be saving the planet. Yes, that's exactly it. All right, enough of Mayor Adams. I'm going to go over time a little bit here because I wanted to get to these last couple here. This guy here, Greta Thunberg is back. The world's greatest scientist, Greta Thunberg, who I don't think she's finished high school yet. But anyway, she's saying that the temperatures are crazy. And so it's likely that shit will hit the fan this year. Those who bear the most blame are fossil fuel companies, politicians, and the media, and celebrities. And everyone's fault. It's everyone's damn fault. You know what? You are on some kind of, she got an award. I don't even know what this is for. And then he says, every word here from Greta Thunberg is true. Well, let's see what she has to say here.
We're a football game.
Wait, hold on. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. Dropping a big bullet in the tip jar who says, this is why I'm completely against CBDC. They will turn off your meat purchases. Fuck these people. I have chickens and I'm getting cows. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy Das Hotep, man. I'm coming to your house. Are you still in Texas, by the way? I think you are. I can't remember. I thought you were in Texas last time I heard. Okay, let's hear Greta Thunberg because she is the smartest person in the world and the world's greatest scientist. So let's listen to Greta. Oh, and the prognosticator, too, and predictor of the future.
Where a football game or a film gala gets more media attention than the biggest crisis humanity has ever faced.
Crisis! I still want to know who's writing her speeches. The biggest crisis humanity has ever faced. Huh. Okay. Oh, this guy's so convinced. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm clapping because everybody else is. I don't really want. Look, watch him. Watch the guy clapping this guy right here. Yeah, I'm clapping because everyone else is. And he's like, who the fuck's this? Oh. Oh, not everyone's happy about it. Not everyone's clapping. Oh my gosh. I feel violated that not everybody's clapping for Greta.
Where celebrities, film and pop stars who have stood up against all injustices will not stand up for the environment.
Yes, not a single pop star or actor or anybody ever talks about climate because they just won't. I don't know how you can get them to talk about it. They just won't. They refuse. They never. That's bullshit.
And for climate justice.
Climate justice.
That would inflict on their right.
She's using all the buzzwords.
To fly around the world, visiting their favorite restaurants, beaches, and yoga retreats.
How do you get around, Greta? Greta, how'd you get here? Oh. Oh, she's totally impressed. She is. This woman is completely impressed with this speech. Yes, it is. Yes, she is. Or is she crying because she's guilty? I know I'm one of those people she's talking about. I feel so bad. I came here on a private jet to this award show, and Greta got here too somehow. I think she could have done this by a satellite, but no, she had to actually come to the award show, and she got here somehow. I don't think she walked. I don't think she swam through the channels of wherever the hell she's from and then across the Atlantic Ocean. I'm pretty sure she took a plane or a boat or something that got her here. Oh, all these people clapping like seals, but none of them are smiling. Look at that. She's not impressed either. That's sad. Okay, that was it, I guess. Okay, so the world's greatest scientist, Greta Thunberg. Thank you, people. All right, congratulations, Greta, on your FTG Greta Thunberg, by the way. I don't have time to type it. I got to get out of here. And then, Tim Pool laughed here because he says, Greta is one of the most widely cited client scientists with over zero years in the field and a staggering 0 degrees and diplomas beyond grade school. Greta has taken the world by storm with her cursory knowledge skimmed from Google and rhetoric overheard from the activists yelling in the streets. Okay, Tim, that is spot on. That is spot on. All right, I'm going to finish up with one here from, who is this? Who do I got left? Oh, I got one here. This is, breaking... Oh, the New York Times. The New York Times did this. The New York Times just reported on congressional members trading during the banking crisis. They showed how members traded during the crisis while the public worried. Here's a list of members highlighted. Jared Moskowitz sold shares of Seacoast Banking worth $65,000 to $150,000 on March 10th. Dan Goldman is a Democrat, sold shares of First Republic. The wife of Representative Ro Khanna, another Democrat, sold First Republic. John Curtis, a Republican, sold shares of First Republic. Representative Nicole Delacata, a Republican from New York, bought shares of New York Community Bank Corp after private discussions with New York bank regulators labeled it as her spouse, despite I don't know what that says. The stock rallied 40% 2 days later. Many members said it was their trust or advisors, not them, trading to the New York Times. Yet once again, during a crisis, congressional portfolios benefited while the public panicked. I'll just say FTG to all of Congress for that shit. So there you go. Then finally, that was it. That was the last one. So there you go, people. Guys, I got to go. I'm late as hell. But before I go and before you click any damn buttons, hit the like button, share the stream, and PDogNight.live, 24 hours a day. If you want to sponsor the show, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, and the other two things down in the description are also appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back tomorrow at my normal time, somewhere between 9 and 9:30 Central Time. Thanks for being here, but I don't have time to be chit-chatty on the way out. Gotta go. Thanks. My name's P-Dog-Night, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. The links will be in the chat. See you in a bit, or see you tomorrow. Hey, this is P-Dog-Night, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog-Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog-Night, and I'm out of here.